If you grew up hearing phrases like, we don't have money for that, or money doesn't grow on trees, chances are you have a scarcity mindset with money. A scarcity mindset is when you view resources, like money, as limited and exhaustible, rather than something that flows in and out of your life. In today's video, I'm going to talk about 3 classic signs of a scarcity mindset and how they may be affecting your finances today. The first sign that you grew up with a scarcity mindset is that you feel guilty spending your money, even if it's on something that you enjoy and can afford. Maybe you go out to dinner, but you only order water because you don't want to pay $4 for a soda. Or maybe you buy yourself a great new jacket, but you ruminate over how you could have gotten a cheaper option at the thrift store. This feeling of guilt comes from the belief that there's never enough money, so spending any of it seems reckless. But here's the truth. If you don't feel like you have enough today, you're never going to feel like you have enough. You could double your salary overnight and you are still going to feel guilty for buying the name brand pasta at the grocery store. If this sounds like you, here's what you're going to do. First, you need an emergency fund with a minimum of 3 months of living expenses. Bonus points if you put it in a high-yield savings account. A big part of feeling like you don't have enough is wondering if some big, unexpected, unavoidable expense is going to spring up and you don't have the money to pay for it. So get your emergency fund in place so that you know your back is covered. Next, you're going to work to pay off debt. You may feel guilty about spending your money because you know you should be putting that money towards your debt. Specifically, credit card debt, which is the most expensive kind of debt. So start making a plan for how you're going to pay off that debt so that you can spend with a free conscience. Finally, once you have an emergency fund, once you've paid off your debt, you're going to take a portion of your paycheck and just spend it. If you grew up with a scarcity mindset, you definitely don't have the skill to know how to spend your money. So just take a small amount of money and go buy yourself that thing that you never let yourself buy before. See how it feels. You're probably gonna feel guilty at first, but remind yourself that you just used your money to buy something that you genuinely enjoy, and that's great. The truth is, money isn't good or bad. It's just a tool. And when you use it intentionally, it can make your life so much better. The second sign that you grew up with a scarcity mindset is that you always choose the cheapest option, even when spending a little more on quality would give you better long-term value. Maybe you buy a pair of bargain shoes that only last you for a few months, instead of spending a little more on a pair that could last you for years. Or maybe you buy a cheap winter jacket and spend the whole winter freezing instead of investing in a good jacket that would keep you warm all winter long. Of course, being mindful of your budget is important, but choosing the cheapest option every time can sometimes be more expensive in the long run. What's more is this habit of always choosing the cheapest option comes from a fear of spending, and it overshadows a true evaluation of the things that are actually worth your money. So if this sounds like you, there's a couple things you can do. First, identify the areas in your life where quality matters and where it doesn't. For example, I buy expensive running shoes several times a year. Since I run every day, I need a good pair of shoes to prevent injury, and I'm willing to invest more money for a higher quality. But I don't care about the brand of jeans I wear. Of course, I still want to look good, but I just don't care about the specific brand. So I will choose the cheapest option that fits and just buy that. It can also help to think of your items as cost per use instead of total cost. For instance, let's go back to the winter coat example. Let's say you buy a $50 winter jacket that lasts you for 1 year. So you pay $50 per year or $500 over the next 10 years. Or you could invest $300 in a nice down winter jacket that lasts you for 10 years. That comes out to only $30 per year for 10 years. So although the upfront cost of the jacket was considerably more, the total cost over 10 years was actually less. So if you're struggling with paying for something, try breaking it down to cost per use, and you may find that it's actually the more affordable option. The final sign that you have a scarcity mindset is that you struggle to invest in yourself. Whether it's a gym membership or a course online or therapy, you find yourself asking, is it even really worth it? This hesitation comes from fear of wasting money. If you grew up believing that money should only be spent on tangible, necessary items, then spending on yourself can feel like a luxury. You may think that this is the practical or responsible thing to do, but really what you're doing is just putting yourself last. In fact, investing your money in your physical health, mental health, and personal growth is some of the best ways you can spend your money. You need to be able to shift your perspective on what counts as a necessary expense. And instead of viewing it as frivolous to spend on yourself, see it as an investment in your personal growth. Buying a personal finance course may actually help you earn more money. Paying for therapy may help you break free of crippling anxiety. Getting a gym membership could keep your body healthy, preventing any future health problems. I understand that it can feel difficult at first to spend money on yourself. This is something that I used to struggle with as well. What helped me was starting small. First, I allowed myself to buy something for $20 just because I liked it. It did feel frivolous, but I really enjoyed that purchase. So give yourself permission to spend a small amount of money on something that you really enjoy. Maybe it's a new book or some makeup or a pastry from your local coffee shop. You deserve to spend your money on things that bring you happiness. You also need to consider the cost of staying the same. What is the price of not investing in yourself? If you don't take that course or get that degree, what kind of career opportunities are you missing out on? If you don't go to therapy to manage your anxiety, what kind of life experiences are you missing? Sometimes not spending the money will actually cost you more. Finally, you can create a growth fund. Set aside some money every month in a separate account for personal growth. This can help remove any guilt or hesitation over spending your money because you've set it aside specifically for this purpose. Remember, investing in yourself is not a waste of money. It means creating a better future for yourself, both personally and financially. If you liked this video, remember to like and subscribe. If any of these 3 signs resonated with you, I'd love to know which ones. Let me know in the comments below. And check in every Wednesday for new videos. See you next time!